In this session, we will discuss at the rate primary annotation and at the rate qualifier annotation. So what is the use of these annotations? Okay, when we should go for primary annotations and when we should go for qualifier annotation. Let's try to understand. Okay, let's first of all here we create one interface. I create one interface with name vehicle. So now here we have entities. Okay, under that entities folder, let's I create one interface that is a vehicle interface. This is interface. Okay. Now inside this interface, let's we declare one method get vehicle name. Okay. So now I have created one interface. Under this interface, let's I declare one method public which return string type value get name get name get name. So now we define another class. This is interface. Now we define one more class. I give the class name just like suppose car. So car class also require this service. So car class implements vehicle interface. Which interface? Vehicle interface. Vehicle interface. When car class implements the vehicle interface, then inside car class we need to provide the get name method implementations. Let's now this method written in car class car. Okay, what is the name as car? Okay, let's now we create one more class, one more implementations of vehicle. Suppose I here we create one more entity with name bike. I create here one more entity bike. Bike class also implements vehicle. Yes, no? Also implements vehicle. Now here we provide the name of the vehicle. So what is the vehicle name? Bike. So now here we have two types vehicle. We can say one is a bike and other is a car. So vehicle is an interface, root interface. You can say now it has two child classes, two implementation. Vehicle implementation. There are two implementation for vehicle. One is a car, another is a bike. Yes, no? Vehicle. It means we have two types vehicle. Yes, no? Either you can use bike or you can use car. So car and bike both are implementation of the vehicle. The bike and car is the implementation of the vehicle interface. Now let's here we create one class, one more class that is a drive class. Let's here we create one class, drive class. Okay, drive class want to drive any vehicle. So drive class required what vehicle required. So what so now under drive class, actually we have required vehicle. So now this class drive class first of all we represented as a string bean. So how we can represent? By annotating this bean, this class by using at the rate component annotation. Now this is a string bean. Now the car class, sorry, drive class is dependent on a vehicle. Suppose if you want to drive any vehicle, so drive class required one dependency vehicle. I'm writing vehicle, vehicle. So this is the dependencies that required to the drive class. Now we want to inject this dependent bean object into the drive target object using constructor by calling constructor. So if you want to inject vehicle instance into the drive instance by calling drive class constructor. So let's here we define a constructor public drive and now it will take a parameter vehicle And now we are writing this dot vehicle equal to vehicle. So now we injecting object. Yes or no? So now we want to inject vehicle object into the drive object by calling a constructor of drive class. So drive class constructor we need to annotate at the rate auto wire annotation. Now in the drive class we have one method public void print. Okay, this will print. We are using which vehicle name. We are drive by which vehicle. Yes, no. So how we can print? So we have vehicle dot get name method. Now understand point here. Here we are injecting the vehicle. Actually, vehicle you have two types, either bike or car. So how container will identify which type vehicle needs to inject? Here we declare one dependencies vehicle, but we have two implementation of vehicle, either bike or car. So which implementation needs to be injected whenever drive required vehicle? So okay, now come back into the bike class. Now also we are annotated at the rate component annotations. Let's at the rate component annotations. And now we are injecting car class also we are annotated at the rate component annotations at the rate component annotation. Okay, now come into the main class. Okay, in the main class, we are asking which bean. We are asking the instance of which bean drive class. Yes, no. So context dot here we have container configurable application context. Now we calling the get bean method. Get bean, and here we passing the name of the bean, which type, which bean, drive bean we have required. Yes, no. And now what is the type of the bean? Drive 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 dot class. Now what it will return? It will return the drive object. Yes, no. Drive equal to. Now we can call the method dot print method. Yes, no. Drive dot print method. Now understand. Now save it and check the output first of all. Let's save it. Run it. Okay, watch here. Now the application is started, but when you run this application, so watch here, you will get the error. What error? What error you will get? Okay. Okay, what is the problem? Okay, now let's we are commenting the code. Just 1 minute. Okay, watch here. Here we will get the error. What error? Now you can check here. Here we have drive class, vehicle interface. Now vehicle, actually there are two implementation for vehicle, either bike or car. In the drive class, when we are injecting the vehicle differences, now container will confuse. Yes, now which vehicle implementation needs to be injected here? Either actually vehicle may be bike, yeah, vehicle may be car. There are two types of vehicles. So now here it will raise na errors. So how we can resolve this confusions? So here actually for this vehicle, whenever anybody asks vehicle, which bean actually we need to inject firstly. So here we have two types, car and bike. Let's suppose I'm declare this car bike class by using at the rate primary annotation. Actually, primary annotations give higher preferences to a bean when there are multiple bean of same type. For vehicle, we have two type bean, yes, no? Either bike or car. So whenever anybody asks for vehicle, which type for vehicle, which bean needs to be injected. So suppose here we are in annotating bike class by using at the rate primary annotation. So here for bike, there are multiple implementation, yes, no? Which implementation needs to be injected? So now by class we are annotating at the rate primary annotation. Now primary annotation, what does? Primary annotation give higher preferences to a beam. It means if anybody asks for bike, sorry, if anybody asks for vehicle implementations, bike class will be injected, bike instance will be injected, yes no? So it means now we have two types implementation for vehicle, one is bike and car. But when anybody asks, so here drive asks the vehicle which vehicle needs to be implemented, bike vehicle needs to be injected, because bike class we are annotating at the rate primary annotation. At the rate primary annotation give higher preferences to a bean when there are multiple bean of same time. Actually, because auto wiring, actually here we are using auto wiring the drive class. Yes, now auto wiring is depend on the basically by default by type. Which type actually? Here what we are, which type instance we need to inject here? Vehicle type. Yes, no? By default, auto wiring is a by type. By type may lead a multiple candidates. Yes, no? Just like we have two different type vehicle, car and bike. Which vehicle we need to inject? Which vehicle type? Either car or vehicle, car or bike. So now when we have multiple implementations, so suppose sometimes we want, if anybody asks that, suppose just like here, if anybody asks for vehicle, so by default which vehicle needs to be injected? This vehicle. This give the preferences to more, this vehicle, bike vehicle needs to be injected. Okay, let's save it, run it again and check the output. Now we save it. Diagram must be superclass method. Get the method. Okay, so now coming to the bike class. What's problem in the bike class? Okay, let's form dot example dot. Okay, go to the vehicle class. In this vehicle, we have vehicle interface. Yes, no. Under form dot example dot demo dot entity. Now let's save it. This is interface public. Now coming to the bike class. Bike class, we are using vehicle implement. Okay, let's remove it. Now we have implements keyword, implements which in vehicle, vehicle. Okay, let's remove it. Now vehicle, add implementer. Okay, what we need to return? From here we need to return by. Now come into the car class. Implements vehicle. Let's add the method, add implemented method. Now which vehicle we need to return? Car. Yeah. Now save it. Now we can check it. Okay, now you can check here which uh, which bin needs to be injected, bike needs to be injected, yes, no. So here we are using when we have multiple implementation for any type, yes, no. So which type bin needs to be injected, then we can use at the rate primary annotation. At the rate primary annotation is used to give the preference to a bin when there are multiple bins of the same type. Okay, in place now we can use one more annotation also at the rate qualifier. Okay, let's now here we remove it. So for this, okay, let's understand. Now coming to the drive class. Now drive class expecting vehicle. Which vehicle needs to be inject? Yes, no. Which vehicle needs to be inject? So here we require to use qualifier annotations. Okay, qualifier annotation. What that actually? Qualifier annotation used to control the selection process using the bin name. Okay, for this vehicle, which bin need to be select? We can select a bin by using their name. So qualifier annotation is used to control the selection process using the bin name. Okay, so suppose I want to select a bin for this vehicle, which type bin? So here we are using at the rate qualifier annotations. Qualifier annotations. Now here we give the name of the bin. So we have two type bin, yes, no, car and bike. Let's here we give the bin name is a car, yes, no. So bin name, okay, how give the bin name? Actually, your class name is a car, yes, no. So bin name always be given a camel style, yes, no. So bin name become car. If car class name is a bike, if class name is a car, so what is the bin name? Bike, yes, no. So here we are indicating, okay, for this vehicle, which bin needs to be inject? Car, car bin needs to be inject, yes, no. So qualifier annotation is used for the selection process, we can say, for bin using the name. So qualifier annotation to control the selection process using the bin name. You can check here which bin injected, car bin injected. Okay, let's here we give the name as a bike. So which bin needs to be injected? Bike bin needs to be injected. So at the rate primary, at the rate qualifier annotation. What difference between at the rate primary, at the rate qualifier? At the rate primary is used to specify, yes, no, give the preferences. We can say at the rate primary annotation is used to give the preferences to a bin in when there are multiple implementations available. At the rate qualifier annotations is used to control the selection process of the bin. Yes, no? At the rate qualifier annotation is used to control the selection process of the bin. So this is a difference between at the rate qualifier and at the rate primary annotations. Okay, one more thing. Okay, here we want to inject the bin, yes, no? So by calling a constructor, okay, here we are not using annotations. You can specify the name of the bin directly. So suppose I will specify the bin name is a car, yes, no? So let's save here. Now you can check here. You can inject the bin, yes, no, based on their name also. Okay, so let's know. I'm now actually, now we are injecting the bin using field annotation. So auto wire. Now here we give the bin name as a car. Let's save it, run it. What happened? Okay, sorry. So now here we require to call the car dot get name. Yeah. Now let's save it, run it. Okay, now go to the vehicle, car class, and now go to the bike. Okay, remove the primary annotation. Now go to the car drive. In the drive, which bin we are injecting? We are injecting 1 minute. What's the problem? bean name is not defined. Yeah. Okay, let's save it, run it again. Car. Let's run it again. Now you can check here. Which type bean injected? Car type. So there, here we are injecting the bean by name. Okay, by name. Okay. If you suppose we have vehicle we have two types, car and bike. If you want to inject the bean for vehicle by name, so here you can specify the name of the bean. So here the name of the bean matches to which type bean? This car type bean. Yes, no? So for this vehicle, which bean needs to be injected?